Boom, back at it one more time with another show. So we're going to give you about a half hour today of just stuff that's going on. Try to make some sense of some things that I've been seeing, some media that's been put out, videos and reels and things like that. All right, we're going to start off today again with a public service announcement. Today's public service announcement is for the fellas. Fellas, if your lady is getting ready to go out somewhere and she sprays perfume on her ankles, you need to follow her. I'm not going to explain to you the ins and outs of what I'm saying. I'm just going to tell you, if you notice your lady is getting ready to go out somewhere and she sprays perfume on her ankles, you need to follow her. All right. So we'll start at the top. So at the top, we say women are not really good at cheating. So like putting your phone on D&D is not smart because if it's me, I'm going to feel some type of way if you get no notifications ever, right? If every time you come around me, nobody in this planet needs you for anything, I'm going to get suspicious about that. So that's one of your means of doing nefarious things behind somebody's back. Just put it on D&D. That way you get no notifications and cover your tracks that way. But it ain't going to work. Not on me. Also, there's the constant excuses and explanations for constant notifications, where your phone is going off like the PA system in Grand Central Station, and you got an excuse as to why that is. Also, the Google CarPlay and the iPhone and all that stuff being connected in your car, and then it rings and then you don't answer it. So that's my thing when I say y'all are not really that good at cheating, because I know that we have perpetuated this stereotype that women are super good at cheating and they do it well and they do it all the time and we're just too stupid to catch on. So I might be, crossing a boundary by telling y'all this, but you're not really that good at cheating. Most times what's happening is the guy will see the signs but know he doesn't have enough evidence to convict. So he won't say nothing at all, right? So, for instance, your phone rings in the car. You don't answer it. That's a red flag, but that's not enough evidence to convict. So you're probably not going to say anything, right? Or you may make a joke about it, how weird that looks. And he's probably not going to press it. So a lot of times it's that we just don't have enough evidence to convict, but we see what's going on with the red flags. Or what's going on is some dudes just want the relationship to work, right? And so they feel like everything is not a good reason to mess the relationship up, even if what they're seeing doesn't look up and up, right? So they'll ignore stuff in the hopes that they'll work on themselves, fix themselves, and then she'll come around and start acting right. It's probably not acting right now, but maybe I got stuff I need to work on. Let me do me, and then once I'm better, she'll be better. I don't think that's going to work. I think if you got a cheater, you got a cheater. You can, like Cleopatra, man, you can give her the world and she's still going to cheat on you. So I don't think that's going to work. But some dudes think like that. I think that's the thing. Sometimes dudes themselves are cheating, right? And so, okay, if you're cheating, then at least when I get caught, I'm going to bring up your stuff and then we're going to be even. You know what I mean? So they don't say anything so that they have a bullet in the chamber when they get caught. Right? So, hey, as soon as I get caught, I'm like, oh, you think I don't know what you're doing? When you're sitting here putting perfume on your ankles? Right, so bring up your stuff when you bring up my stuff, and it makes us nothing but even. There's a lot of reasons, man. There's a lot of reasons why dudes don't say anything or prosecute you like you think. But one of the reasons is not just because we're just too dumb to know. Sometimes, I mean, it's, dudes out there of all flavors, right? So maybe some of them. But I don't think it's as many as you think. I think a lot of dudes are aware of at least the red flags and are just ignoring them or not speaking on them for their own purposes or devices. But, y'all make a lot of mistakes. For one, the Apple CarPlay or the Google CarPlay and stuff like that, like, you leave your phone at home. Sometimes you go to work. You leave your watch, the Apple Watches that have all your text messages on them. You leave them at home, but you take your phone to work. You leave your laptops open. You go to the bathroom. You do all kinds of stuff, man. You do all kinds of stuff. You tell your friends too much, or your friend think I know something already that I don't know, and now that's they divulge too much information. But I won't say nothing. I won't tell you that your friend just told me that. Let me see what you say when I ask you. You know what I mean? Like so many things. You leave the car seat back too far, or it's leaning way back, and I don't sit like that. You do all kinds of stuff. You get yourself caught all the time. So you're not as good at cheating as you think you are. And I would just warn you, some of these dudes out here ain't playing. Here they go. I know what I'm talking about. Look at TikTok, man. TikTok will show you that some of these dudes out here ain't playing. So a lot of dudes will just leave you or stay. Some dudes will stay. But some dudes ain't playing, man. They'll go eat some prison food in 15 years about their respect. So just be careful what you're doing. You're not as slick as you think. Boom, 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 boom. Next thing. When you have a soulmate level of chemistry with someone, how could that possibly go wrong? How does that go wrong? Right? You find somebody that you are connected with this person objectively in a way that you are not connected with other people. Y'all vibe, y'all get along in a way that it's hard to explain. The way I describe it is like, you find somebody where their energy is like, even if y'all had been born on two opposite sides of the universe, you're positive some way, somehow y'all would have found each other. And you could just feel that vibe about them. Like, we were going to meet somehow. It was going to happen. And then so how is it that when y'all get together in a relationship, how does that still not work? I'll tell you, to me, what happens is one of the parties doesn't respect the what you found. They don't think it's that big a deal. Or they think they can find it in someone else, someone a little bit more perfect than you. And so they throw it away. They throw it away, man. It is crazy. It's like watching somebody, finding a chain from, wrap chains with all the diamonds in it, thinking it's moissanite, throwing it away and not realizing that's a real chain, man. That was really 50 Cent's chain that he lost at a concert. You picked it up and thought it was moissanite and threw it away. And you can't afford it, so you can't get another one. And it's not coming back. Somebody else has it now, and that's that. And that's really what's going on, man, is that people, that's how it gets jacked up. Is that I'd say from a male perspective, dealing with women, a lot of times the women will find you and think you're great, sure, right? When you got the soulmate level kind of connection, they'll think you're great, but you still have flaws. It doesn't mean that you're perfect, right? You're just really good. And so they'll spend the first part of the relationship trying to take you from really good and making you perfect. If you would just do this one thing, if I could just get him to stop, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't do it, or you don't do it enough, or you don't do it right. Right? So now you're not perfect and you're not getting better. And so then they start feeling like, well, if I could find him, I could probably find a better him. Somebody that has all the same good things and just none of the bad things, and then it would be who I need to be with. And so they do what they do in order to make that happen. Some of them will go behind your back, start dating other people in the search for it. Some people will break up with you and go on an endeavor to find what they couldn't find in you. But whatever they do, that's what they're doing. They're trying to find a more perfect version of you. And then they find out that it doesn't exist. It's not out there. And you were as close as she was ever going to get to perfection. And now you're gone too. And she's not going to have you back. And then she realizes what's really out there. Ladies, anybody who's dating right now can tell you what's out there. And it ain't soulmates or anything close. It ain't soulmates or anything close. Because anything they want can't act right. And anything they don't want wants them more than they want the sun to come up tomorrow. Right? The dude that's 5'2", he wants to be with you bad, but he can't because he's 5'2". So that's what's out there. But they swear, man, they get with you and they find the soulmate level connection, but you're just not perfect. So they try to make you perfect. So there's that. Also, there's a lot of, if you find her when she's young, and she's still partying, she ain't had enough of this or that, and she ain't did this thing or that thing, She feels like as good as you are, she's not going to let you ruin her youth. Right? It's the stuff she wants to do or experience, and she's not going to let you ruin it. So hopefully you can stick by her while she gets through this. If not, so be it. Whatever it is that y'all share, she'll probably find it in because she got a bunch of time, right? She's in her 20s, she got another 40 years to find another year. She thinks chances are good that she'll come about that. And so she'll let it go. Whatever, I'll find it again. And then it ain't till you're alone in 37, 38, 40. When you're alone then and you realize there ain't another him coming. That's when you're like, dang, if I had met him when I was older, things probably would have been dope. So that's a lot of times from a male perspective, dating women, that's what happens on their end. I think a lot of the same thing is going on with men, where they're just not ready, not old enough, not mature enough. A lot of men, though, that I know aren't looking for that. They don't think it's necessary. Some of them don't want it. They just flat out will tell you, I do not want the person that I'm with to be that close to me. Sure, let's get along, let's take care of the household responsibilities and all that stuff. But when I, hang out, want to have fun and all that stuff, I want to hang out with my friends. I don't want my girl to be there. I don't want her to be that close to me as a reason why I'm having fun. People are just not looking for it. Even women are something like that. They're not looking for it. They don't think it's necessary. Some don't think it exists. People are not looking for it. So that's another thing. Even when they find it, they don't recognize it because they're not looking for it. They don't think it exists or they don't think it's necessary. So there's some of that. So I'll leave it there. I mean, for the question of why does it fail even when you find your soulmate, those are some reasons why. Boom. Moving on. Okay, there's a saying that goes, women break rules for the ones that they like, and they make rules for the ones that they don't. So when you say that they don't, it is not the case that they don't like you at all. They just don't like you as much as you like them. Or, you're kind of the best option right now, but she knows with enough time there probably will be a better option later on. But you're the best option right now. But that doesn't mean she wants you around her all the time or calling her or talking to her or texting her or anything like that. And so she'll start making rules to make sure you don't make her uncomfortable while she's on the search for other people. Or she'll make rules to make sure that you don't mess it up when she finds somebody else, right? She wants to still maintain a certain level of freedom from you. So she'll start making rules. Don't be texting me all day, all night. I don't want to talk. Or don't be coming around my house unannounced. Or, we can hang out on Saturdays, but I like my Sundays to be free. Whatever the case may be, she starts making rules. But what you'll notice, fellas, what you have noticed, I'm sure, is that when she really does like someone, none of those rules exist. None of those rules exist. And you're sitting there looking, I thought you said you don't like people being around you on Sundays. But it's him. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, fellas. You got to pay attention. Is she making these a whole bunch of rules all of a sudden? I can't this, I can't that. So that's a sign that this ain't going like you think. Now, it's natural for her to have regular boundaries or just some boundaries for sure. But when it feels like all the boundaries are designed to only give you a certain level of access to her, it's probably a bad sign. Because she wouldn't have those rules with somebody that she actually liked. She just wouldn't. Okay, you've seen it. Maybe not with her, but other women. I'm telling you, like, you'll see her with the worst dude on earth. Dudes don't even like that dude. She got no boundaries with that dude. He's free to do. Now I seen this girl walking to a party one time with a dude that none of the other dudes at the party probably respected a whole lot. But she don't know that. She doesn't know his standing within this friend group. This is the first time around any of us, man. And he was talking to her crazy. And she was obeying. And I was looking like, man, if she only knew what that dude, who he really was. But she liked him. And that's all that matters to her, man. She likes him. He can do whatever he want to do, man. That's the thing, man. It doesn't matter his real standing in life. It's what she thinks of him. And those rules and boundaries will exist depending on that. So just think about that, fellas, and how you're being treated in your relationship. Boom. When a man's life revolves around getting women. So there are some men out there whose whole life revolves around talking to and getting with women more and more. There's no end. There's no magic number. No limit. They do whatever it takes to put on and impress women. But the thing about that is, even when they don't, necessarily have employment or money or their own place to stay or a car, I mean, even then, they're still concentrating first and foremost on getting women, and all that other stuff can come later. And it's like, dudes like that, man, it's hard to be around them. Like, bruh, that ain't what you need to be thinking about right now. You know what I'm saying? But they want to know where the ladies at or who's going to take them around some ladies. And if you ain't about that, then they don't want to be around you. They're going to go find somebody that is about going to be around some ladies. And they try to challenge your masculinity if that ain't the number one thing on your mind. It's like, brother, and it's always that old adage, you'll never lose women chasing money. But you'll lose money chasing women. Yeah, true. But them dudes don't see that, bro. They don't see it, boy. Women are it for them. And so even for other dudes, it's like that. We're all for chasing women at the appropriate time. But if that's all you were ever thinking about, all you ever want to do, even to your own detriment, that ain't the way, fellas. A lot of us grew up without fathers, so we don't know that. We don't hear that. But I'm here to tell you that ain't the way. That's too much. Too much. Dial it back a little bit. You know what I mean? Have some priorities about yourself that can get you some money, get you a good standing in life to where you're stable. Then, if you want, let your life be all about chasing women. And not before. Not before. So boom, that's that. Again, man, that's that Zeus Network thing. For 2 weeks in a row, I've decided to skip it because, I don't know, man. That whole Zeus Network just bothers me, man. Anyway, I'm just gonna skip it again. Joie Chavis, who is 35 years old, look her up. Joie Chavis is no longer with Trayvon Diggs, who is 25, 10 years her junior. But she just gave birth to his baby. Joie Chavis happens to also have children with Bow Wow. Her oldest is with Bow Wow. And her middle child is with Future. Yeah. So that's cool. The thing about it is we all saw that coming. Everybody except for Trayvon, apparently. Where, him and her having a baby together, you kind of knew that when they announced their pregnancy that this is probably the beginning of the end of that relationship. Because the whole purpose of this child is to forever be financially secure. Because it just so happens Trayvon Diggs plays football for the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL. And so, once you've secured a child from one of these guys, the money is not in the relationship. Sad to say, the money is not in the relationship. The money is in you breaking up and then him paying you child support. So it just doesn't benefit her financially for them to stay together. And sure enough, surprise, surprise, they're not together anymore. And this happens to be a lady who's played a game or played the game twice before with Bow Wow and Future. I should say in an interview, I don't get any child support from anybody. And I just find that very hard to believe. Maybe she's not getting state child support from them, right? Maybe she's getting gifts and they're just taking care of needs and stuff like that. Maybe she's not getting child support from a court. But to believe that from Bow Wow, Future, and now Trayvon Diggs, she doesn't get a dime and she's okay with that? Sure. Sure. I don't say that's defeating the purpose. But, maybe. What am I to say? I just, for the relationship portion of it, once she was pregnant, the writing was on the wall. Turns out also, Draya and her beau are no longer together. right after she gave birth. Now, Draya said before she gave birth that she didn't feel the need to be with him in order to have his baby. She thought that was old school, and she's kind of, she has a new way of thinking. She's more forward thinking than that. She didn't ever claim him as her man. Yes, she's having this baby, but that doesn't mean they're together. According to her, that's the new way people are thinking. But I think, again, there's an understanding there that the money is not in the relationship. The money is in having the baby and then him owing you. And so her beau, I believe, plays basketball. Let me see. What's his name? Who the dude Dre was with? It was... Oh, yeah, it's Jalen Green. He's the guard for the Houston Rockets, right? But she also has other kids, too. One of them was by a civilian. But then she has another kid by Orlando Skandrick, he's a corner for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are down bad, but that's not new information either. Fly Eagles fly. But anyway, point being that they're having kids with women who understand the game and understand where the money is. So it's just crazy because we all saw it coming, except for them, apparently, except for the dudes. So anyway, protect your neck. There was a lady who said that men over 30 should only date single moms. Only date single moms. And her reasoning for that was the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because she said the mentality and maturity of a single mother is further along by an exponent than someone who's over 30 not a single mom. And she said the reason for that is as a single mom, you start to value yourself more, you value your own time more, and you value what you give your energy to a lot more, and some other things, etc., etc. I thought that could be true. I think there's some meat on that bone because you have to, right? When you're single, young and single, you don't have to value your time and your energy like that because, you should, but you don't have to, It's just you. You know what I mean? And you could waste a bunch of time, right? When you're still young. And when you're single, you don't have somebody depending on you to live. You could waste a bunch of time and energy on stupid stuff. And make it up later, right? When you decide to get more serious. All right, for real, I got to buckle down and blah, 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 blah. Whenever that time comes, you could do that. But in the meantime, you could make a bunch of bad choices. You know what I mean? Or give your energy to nonsense. You could, and it wouldn't really hurt you that much because what difference does it make? You're young. When you're a single mom, you don't have time like that. You got somebody who is taking a good portion of the energy that you have. Think about it. I mean, you're going to work, working 8 hours, giving your energy to your job to come up in life. And then you're coming home and starting day number 2 where this little person, whatever age they are, is taking another portion of your energy. Okay? And now you got a dude, a partner, who wants the last part of energy that you have. And you're going to be very guarded and protected about that. Like, look, man, if it's going to bear some fruit, even in the long run, maybe not right now, but even in the long run, okay, maybe. But if this ain't going to bear no fruit or doesn't look like it has the potential to, I'm not spending a bunch of time giving my energy to this. So you can kind of respect that as an older male, someone who is very guarded about their energy. And the things that they value and stuff like that. They're just more mature, further along in thought process. I can agree with that, at least to some degree. That doesn't mean any, person who's not a single mom isn't mature or doesn't know. I'm not saying that, but just, by virtue of the responsibility, it makes you kind of have to be. Sort of like kids who grew up without parents have to be more mature faster. And that's just by virtue of the circumstances, Whereas it doesn't mean that no one else is mature. It just means that if you grow up with no parents, you don't have a choice. If you want to survive, So I think there's some meat on that bone. That kind of makes sense, So if you have taken single moms off the menu and you're over 30 as a dude, I want to rethink that. Maybe not. Maybe not. But you might. The men requiring or requesting women to go 50-50 in the household. And a lot of that argument there is kind of weird to me. Kind of weird to me because the argument is, well, if she were alone, she would be responsible for 100% of her life. So asking her to be only responsible for 50% is still a deal, as far as she's concerned. And it's like, yeah, but is it really 50%? And the reason why that comes up is because when you're asking for 50-50, you're asking her to pay 50% of the cost of living in that house. But you're not relieving her of the duties of, like, the domestic duties. Right? She's not relieved of those duties by any stretch. You're still requiring her to do the, feminine duties, traditionally feminine duties. Or you're saying that she's not a good candidate for marriage because she doesn't do wifely duties. So you're asking her really to do 100% and you to do 50, right? Because she has to work so that she can provide her 50% and then come home and continue to work to be considered, domestic enough to be a good partner and wife. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. And I've heard one argument say, yeah, but I still got to do man duties around the house. Yeah, but I don't think they're equal, right? When you're talking about cleaning a house, you're doing that daily. When you're talking about mowing the lawn, that's once every 2 weeks. Or cleaning a gutter, that's once, a month, only in the fall. You know what I'm saying? Oil changes once a month. And you might not even be doing it. You might be taking it down the street for somebody else to do it, paying somebody to do it. Breaks, once every couple of years. So I don't think the male duties around the house are equal to the degree that you can say, oh, it's not just her, doing 100 and me doing 50. I'm doing 100 too. If you can rattle off a list to me of duties that men do around the house that are comparable to daily cleaning, daily cooking, daily laundry, or weekly laundry, I would just have a hard time believing that those sets of duties are even. So I think the 50-50 argument for men is kind of bogus. And I think it's not a traditionally masculine thing to say. You want her to carry 50% of the load. If you are in a position financially where that has to be the case, do what you got to do to survive. But to just require it, even when you have the capacity to handle the load on your own, I don't see that. That's not masculine. I'll just say that. You can do it. You can require it. It's your taste, your flavor. But to me personally, my opinion, that's, in my opinion, a feminine thing to say or desire or want or do, without the need for it to be the case. Like I said, if you don't make the money, it is what it is. Y'all gotta survive. So anyway, that's my 2 cents about the whole 50-50 argument. I don't see it as being a masculine thing, and I think we should do away with that. But boom, I think we are over the 30-minute mark. We're just now touching it, so I'm going to save the rest for the next show. I appreciate anybody that's watching this. Thank you. And we'll try to bring you... Oh, that's another thing. So I'm trying to put some money into the show to bring a better product. So visually and the audio, I'm trying to bring a better product. So hopefully you start to see some of the fruits of that as we go along. Last week's show compared to this week's show, for sure the quality should be head and shoulders above this week. So hopefully we just keep doing that, putting material out there that's worth something. Also, I'm thinking about potentially doing my straight to YouTube show and a live show on Instagram at the same time, simultaneously. So look for that in the future. I'm still working out the details of that. But thank you for anybody that tuned in this far. We'll see you next week.